Hey everybody, welcome back to Corpse Party Chapter 3, where actually I'm pretty close to the end. And there's a floorboard in here. Remember that corpse I couldn't get to? Yeah. I'll jump cut there, but it's a long walk, so I'll see you there. This corpse. Floorboard goes here. It's an extraordinarily tiny corpse. In its hands is a school printout with some text written on the back in felt tip pen. Felt tip pens are my favorite? They really are. Daddy, I want to go back to Higanso Distant Futures Elementary School. Class of 4-3. Kanao Yukimura. Are even elementary schoolers here? What a wretched fate. How on earth did she get caught up in this mess? Super magic. And now back to second floor entranceway. I mean, second wing. Alright, let's get to that sludge. We got the magic shoes. And I know it's on the third floor. So let's get over there. Come on, Yuka. Third floor. Third floor is obviously best floor. Did I examine you? She's not breathing. Her eyes have a hollow appearance to them, yet still retain a tiny echo of life and reflect a palpable sense of terror. It almost seems as if she could snap out of it at any moment, stand up and walk away. The corpse is so fresh, simply being in its presence is disquieting. It's a fresh corpse. Her skin is still warm to the touch. Attached to her uniform is a student ID name tag. Byakudan Senior High School, Class 2-4, Mitsuki Yamamoto. I feel like I did, but I don't remember getting that name tag. It's a plaster bust, cheap and mass-produced for use in still life paintings. Huh? Wasn't this inside the art room before? Huh? What's the matter? Nothing. Probably just my imagination. Probably. Although it's not. It was totally in the room before. Permanent records. The door is affixed to the wall like a decoration. It won't open. I wonder what's in there. There's something sparkling on the ground. Pick it up? Always. Always pick up the sparkles. Acquired crystal of unsealing. Huh? What seems to be the problem, Yuka? I really have to go to the bathroom. Oh, don't tell me you've been holding it in all this time, have you? My. Well, we'd best find you a place to relieve yourself then. I seem to recall our options being rather limited. Alright. But first... Nah, I'll just do it now. The crystal of unsealing shattered. Alright, skip cut, I'll be right back. Was it here? It's like I never left, is it? Except that I don't remember if it's here. The protective charms attached to the door have completely vanished. It's now opening with no difficulty whatsoever. It seems usable now. Will you be alright by yourself? Uh-huh. I'll be okay. Get to it then. I'll be waiting right here for you. Thanks. Kizami? Kizami, is it really you? Kurosaki, you're alive. You too! Man, are you a sight for sore eyes. Finally, someone else who isn't dead. God-forsaken place that this is. I was at my wit's end just now. Let me tell you, outside of this school there's nothing but trees, as far as the eye can see. Thought about braving the wilderness, but it seems like no one... like one of those forests of the lost you see in video games. Once you enter, you can never leave. Maybe. So what the hell is this place anyway? There are actual honest-to-goodness ghosts in here, you know? I think we may be stuck here for good. There's no way out, for any of us. Did you see? Mitsuki in the next room. She's dead. Yeah, I saw. I just don't know how to handle this. I feel like there's a certain number of dead bodies a person's expected to see within his lifetime. And I swear, in the last hour alone, I think I've far surpassed my quota. Just yesterday, Mitsuki dumped her boyfriend after finding out he was cheating on her with 3 other women. She's been really down about it all morning. So I sent her stupid text messages during class to cheer her up. She seemed mad about it during study hall. But then she sent me a thank you message the very next period. I think I was actually able to lift her spirits a little. Now though, she's gone. Killed by actual spirits. I guess it was those children. Huh? Kizami, what are you doing? Kizami, don't you understand? Knives are sharp! No, just like the corpse was screaming in that other... when? Chapter 2? Chapter 2. Within these walls, it doesn't matter if you're killed by them or killed by me. Either way, you're dead. Huh? Where? What happened? Where am I? Was I knocked out? Yuka! Yuka, are you there? Yuka! Staff room. Victim's Memoirs, 5-5. Wait, didn't I just say read it? Yeah. Looks like I'll be dying soon, so I'm going to try to keep my fingers steady, just this one last time. The bleeding never stopped, and I'm getting colder and colder. I can barely see. In the end, we never did find one another. And unless you magically pop out of the shadows real soon, we never will. Itsuharu. I've always idolized you. You constantly surpassed me in every way, always one step ahead no matter what we were doing. I kept telling myself that at some point I'd turn a corner and you'd be there. But I knew better. My brain knew better. My brain rejected that notion from the beginning. If I should dream in death, though, then I know I'm going to see you when I turn this next corner, like I've been praying for all this time. We can beat each other up like we used to. And I'll never have to be alone again. Oh God, my head. A wave of nausea and unbearable despair suddenly washed over Satoshi's entire body. The next thing he knew, he was standing in the corner of an extremely narrow red room. His movements weren't his own. It was as if his mind was disconnected from his body, with no perception of surface or gravity or motion. After a sudden dip jarred his senses, he realized he was moving purely on nerve impulses, with no direction or control. Perhaps he'd been taken in by the curse, by the wave of negativity that permeated this space, far beyond the spectrum of human understanding. His shell of a body might as well have been a twig skipping across the ground in a windstorm. Without warning, his very sense of self had been completely destroyed, leaving him in a virtually lobotomized state. It seems the remnants of a man's tormented soul are indeed a thing best left untouched. For this dying message, and the curse it carried, certainly had no trouble at all dismantling the essence of what was once a boy named Satoshi. Wrong end. Don't worry, we still have time for the real end, as this is the last wrong end. Now back to the show. Let's see. Since I had an extra save where I did not read the fourth victim's memoirs, I could get this tag. The remains of a female student are sprawled out on the ground here. Her student ID name tag is still pinned to her breast pocket. Misato Municipal Brotherhood, Senior High School, Class 2-4. Kain Hagiwara. Oh, I got that. Ooh, a shiny. I'll get that shiny in a minute. Heavenly Host Bulletin. An individual unaffiliated with the school broke into the building last night and killed himself. This is the third such incident. The deceased was a 72-year-old single male from a neighboring prefecture. That's weird. Strange but true. Stories of the occult, chasing down the hidden past of the cursed school building. It really exists! By Ko Kibiki. Give it a look? Yeah, okay. Over the course of several days, a series of incidents occurred within this town in which young children disappeared, one after another. Their whereabouts were ultimately discovered through a thorough police investigation, but said findings were very much a worst-case scenario. 3 of the missing children were found dead in a concealed room beneath Heavenly Host Elementary, officially unused throughout the school's history. The 4th missing child is thankfully still alive, quaking in fear on the ground, presumably only moments away from demise when police arrived. Capping off this nightmarish scene was an adult male member of the school's teaching staff, who seemed to be in a state of confusion. In his hands were a pair of bloodied scissors. 1973, 9/18. The surviving elementary school student, after psychological counseling, gave official testimony fingering the scissor man as abductor and murderer. The staff member in question was officially charged with multiple counts of abduction and murder of minors, as well as desecration of the dead. He was quickly taken to trial, where an insanity plea spared him from prison or death, but resulted in his compulsory admittance to a mental hospital. Interestingly, the perpetrator of these crimes was none other than the school principal's own son, who is widely renowned for his jovial personality. However, due to a mental ailment of unknown origin, He'd begun losing his ability to speak little by little during his years teaching at Heavenly Host. Once his speech was all but gone, he began searching for alternate places of employment, which occupied him for several months prior to the crime. The results of this endeavor were not favorable, however, and most of his days were spent staggering idly throughout the streets. His reputation quickly degraded. Several months after his admittance to the mental hospital, he managed to slip past the many nurses on duty and escape the premises. Immediately upon doing so, he made his way into the concealed basement room at Heavenly Host Elementary, where he took his own life by hanging. The 3 children he killed were all Heavenly Host Elementary students. But the one girl who was rescued from the gaping maw of eternal slumber was not. Following her close call, she and her family moved to another prefecture, far from the memories that no doubt would have otherwise haunted them forever. Sadly, this was only the beginning of misfortune that would hereafter plague the school, which had already earned itself many an unsettling rumor. Over the next few years, Heavenly Host would become a stage for countless incidences of rape, molestation, and suicide. With student registration and attendance dwindling at an alarming rate in response to these crimes, the school was eventually shut down. 1975, 11/18. The 60-year-old principal at the same time had become infamous as an eccentric who adorned his walls, doors, and furniture with incomprehensible graffiti. Even later forensic analysis of the writings throughout his office could make little sense of his haphazardly scribbled enumerations. And the day after the school's closure date was finalized, this aged eccentric threw himself from its roof. He broke his neck on impact, dying instantly. As you can clearly discern, the sordid history of this school is indeed awful, but there may be more to it than merely a series of unfortunate incidents. A power greater than any of us can comprehend may be acting as puppeteer from the shadows, maintaining an actual, tangible curse upon this property. And the key to it all lies with its sole survivor, the girl who bore witness to the brutal murders and mutilations of 3 children, no older than she. The girl in the red dress, the one who got away. But she's all ghosty. I mean, we saw her. My investigation into the supernatural side of this horrific massacre is only just beginning. Rest assured, I intend to make this a regular feature. I've begun gathering data from a follow-up report, so stay tuned. The next issue promises to uncover more details in this morbidly fascinating story. According to this article, 1 girl survived the murders, but if this photograph is correct, then it's that same girl in the red dress we saw earlier. Why would someone who wasn't killed there be haunting the school? Oh. Good question, though. It's all dark and blinky in here. It's haphazardly crammed to bursting with crumpled up documents, newspaper clippings, and scrap paper. School scandals continue. Principal questioned on liability. A cursed school? The many grisly happenings at Heavenly Host. School nurse reported missing. There's a plaque inside the case commemorating the school's establishment. It's covered in bloody handprints, as if someone were frantically caressing it. That's kinda creepy. That kinda looks like a bread, but it's a stack of books. Inventory of incoming students. Ojima Elementary, 21 boys. Hinomoto Elementary, 10 girls. Caring Village Montessori, 13 boys. Osho West Elementary, 18 girls. Amore Gardens Academy, 6 girls. Heavenly Host Elementary School closure date, 1975, 11:18. The door is completely fixed in place. It won't budge at all. Oh yeah, there was a sparkle on the floor I forgot to get. Come here, Sparkle. I need you. There's a blood-stained cassette on the floor. It seems to be from a digital video camera. Pick it up? Well, yeah, it's a Sparkle. Acquired mini DV tape. The label reads Kibiki Research Data 1. 2005, 11:19.
Sensei.
Now can I leave? The school broke into the... Yeah, okay. 72-year-old man. Looks like I'm locked in. To worry so much for another's well-being that it torments you to the core. It's an exquisite stigmata that afflicts the living and the dead alike. And you are? Ugh, her eyes are so cloudy like a dead fish. I'm the spirit of a girl who died here. Okay. I'm not really sure how to respond to that. Happiness and unhappiness are linked. Whenever one attempts to gain good fortune with little effort, there's always a risk. What are you trying to say? You and your friends have become trapped in this school because you performed the Sachiko Ever After charm and messed it up. Sachiko, you mean that paper doll thing we all did? How did we mess it up? And why do you chant the phrase too many times, or too few? The number of participants determines the number of repetitions that must be spoken. And somebody goofed. Spoken? But wait, no. It was supposed to be in our heads. Everybody said it 9 times? Sachiko, we beg of you, 9 times. You have to say it 1 time for every person present. No more, no less, or the charm will fail. I'm pretty sure it wasn't me. I remember saying it 9 times. So did someone else mess up? And is that why? No. No, I'm not going to start placing blame. This wasn't anyone's fault. It may have been on purpose. One of your friends probably thought the whole thing was silly and just didn't even bother to count. Or maybe a misguided member of your group didn't want the fun to end, knowingly flubbed the charm in a vain attempt at prompting a do-over. Mayu! No. Even if it wasn't on purpose, some of your friends have a tendency not to take things very seriously, no? It's not inconceivable that they'd mess up. And just say, oh well, it's not like I'll ever be found out. Not even realizing that their actions would ultimately doom you all. No one's owned up to it, right? Not a single one of your friends has said to you, I screwed up. I'm so very sorry. Shut the hell up already. My apologies. I've proposed far too many likely scenarios, it seems. Perhaps it's the nature of my job. I have long since abandoned my writings, after all. You do still have your scrap of paper doll, no? Be sure you hang on to that, and hang on tight. Treat it like a memento. A memento of those who are dear to you. Sorry to cut this short, but I'm in a bit of a hurry here. I seem to have gotten separated from my little sister. And there are still some other people I need to find too. Such concern for your friends, and all the impulses that go with it, spurring the heart into action. It's a truly noble sentiment. That's all charms really are, you know. They represent one's regards for other people. They're like microcosms of the soul. Whether it be love or hate, all you need is a truly strong emotion to set them off. The stronger it is, the more powerful the charm. Splend man's hook. I'm burning up. Wait, hold on. What do you... Frigid sui ball. Feels like my body's on fire. Stop this. Please stop. Ball sui frigid. Hook man splend. We will not allow anyone to stand in our way. Those who do will suffer without mercy. Now go. Go to the one who occupies your thoughts. Though you probably won't make it in time. I really like doing evil laughs. They're fun. Continued in Chapter 4. So I will see you next time.